Okay, assalamu alaikum. It's my pleasure to talk to you today about very important topic about data analytics and Power BI. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ashraf Khalaf. I am a professor at American University of Sharjah. I'm teaching accounting information systems, where I teach my students a lot about data analytics. Today I'm gonna go brief. Hello, I hope everybody's fine and hear me well. Okay, today I'm assuming you hear me well, and today I'm gonna go briefly about couple of slides before I introduce for you one of the wonderful application about data analytics and called Power BI, which is used extensively right now by the industry. I'm sure that everybody hear about what's big data, the big term here is big data, and which means that we have a lot, a big amount of information available right now, and it's available for analysis, which were not available before. And when you say it's a big data, we can call it big in four actually different terms, which is kind of four V's, you call it. So big in terms of volume, the amount of data is huge right now comparing to the data were available before, and actually is not easy to handle it by the current software like Access for sure. Access, for example, is limited by number of rows and number of columns. But with the new self-business intelligence, like we were talking about it today, we can handle the data. So it is big in terms of volume. It has a variety of data right now. It's not only structured data, it's structured and unstructured. It could be numerical and unnumerical data. It could be recording, it could be videos, it could be pictures. So that's how the data, like right now, it has a lot of variety. And when you talk about the third V's, which is velocity, the speed of the data is quick. It comes very quick for you, and sometimes it's very important, like, for example, for banks, to stop fraud. If somebody actually steal your credit card, and you need to call your bank quickly and they stop it. So the speed of transporting the information here is very important. That's why I call it velocity. And the last one I call it veracity, which is how reliable is your data. And actually that's one of the drawbacks of the big data, because you are seeing or working with multiple types of information, some of them prepared by outsider, which you have no actually clue how they prepare it. And you need to actually allow couple tests to be sure that the data has a good quality and it is reliable data. When you talk about volume, if you think about it, if you're like in the Economist magazine, actually you talk about it in a nice way. They said, if you think about the collection of the Library of Congress, you need only about 15 terabytes to store the data. Right now, the data is not only in gigabyte or terabyte, it's in petabyte, exabyte, and zettabyte, and you can see how big is the information right now, and that's why I call it big information. Your data right now is available for people to analyze. People would like to analyze facts more than opinions, so that's why they track you. With your cell phones, they know who you are, and where you are. Like, for example, through Google Maps, you can define your location, actually what content of communication you are actually exposed to, like text, video, voice, and all the application you need. So that's why sometimes when you go and shop online, people know you, they start to track you and send you kind of offers in something you show interest in. In business, you find a lot of use of the data analytics right now. I'm going to talk about, one of the very important case, if you Google it, it's about Amazon Alexa audio, that the judge actually used it for murder trial to find out whether the person is guilty or not guilty. Delta Airline as well, they're using the RFID as a tracking system. They actually track your boarding pass with your luggage. So in a way that if you went to your aeroplane and your luggage maybe is not there at the same time, it will click or make a red line. So even when they load your luggage, if it's green, it means that you are already on board. So it means that you are not there, which they can figure out it is come to that flight by mistake, and it saved a lot of money for Delta because they used to track the lost bags, and sometimes they pay penalty or fines for the passenger. In accounting, they use the drones for counting inventory in the warehouse, which was not available that before. So the data actually, and we have for sure something related to that big data ethics, because your data is actually exposed to people outside. Right now in US, they are trying to actually be sure you are in quarantine and you are not party with others. So what they are trying to do right now, and they still have the issue of the privacy, is you know your location from your phone. For example, if a lot of people come to party in one place and they find they're holding their phones, and they can find out where you are partying, and they go out and ask you not to party there because you should not be outside. So all of these data, because of Internet of Things, because of sensors use it, which is not available, make people have a new kind of information that need to be analyzed. If you in business models or outside, or even profit or non-profit organizations, there is a lot of the story about how Target actually is successful on tracking people and make money because of the big data. And there is a very important case that was out there in the news, actually, and the newspaper and the TV shows about Target. When, we know when you go to Target, one of the big store over there, department store, and sometimes if you register in the registry book, they take information about you, like, for example, your address, your phone number. And after that, when you buy, you have whatever you hold, like share here in Carrefour. And they actually know your habits, what you are buying. And after that, they start to send you kind of advertising in the things that you buy more and some offers. And they track your purchase habits, and they see a pattern what you are doing here. So in one day, a dad was sitting at home with his young daughter, 15 years old daughter. He started to receive a kind of ads about a pregnancy woman, and he was saying these ads come by mistake, but it keeps coming for him to the point that he called actually the manager of Target, and he was actually so mad, and he said that I live with my young daughter and you keep sending me ads for pregnancy. You should be sure where you send the ad to. And the manager apologized, and then he said that okay, I want to be sure that in the future I will make sure in the future you will not receive these kinds of ads. And 2 weeks later, the manager called the dad to see if he stopped receiving the ads and apologize again. And surprisingly, the dad told him, "I am the one should apologize to you because I found out my daughter's pregnancy." This case was very, very famous in the States. They take it to the TV in terms of privacy issues, and in terms of how data analytics actually can track people. It's not that. The Target also expects the due date and they start to send actually kind of ads to the same address for the babies, and in which the Target knows about the lady's pregnant and the due date before the dad knows anything. And that's not going to be before data analytics. And there is also stories about flu outbreaks. When people search for symptoms they are suffering from, and what's going on right now with coronavirus. And Google in the past before Corona, when people look for symptoms online and to try to find what medicine is good instead of going to the doctor. And if a lot of search happen, people start to say, oh, it's outbreak, it's a flu outbreak, the government has to make an action. And it is actually before they receive reports from the doctor about like a lot of patient visit because of the same symptoms. Right now, we see at the COVID-19, like it used Google right now try to diagnose actually your symptoms and to give information government. When you look actually in the screen, you see a map, which is type of data analytics right now is used. It's telling you like who is infected, who is actually recovered, and so on. A lot of the story, I'm not going to just take your time here, but it adds a lot of data can help the business a lot. I'm going to give you one example about how these guys who is actually work in England, he's a butcher here, he's selling meat, and he was so happy, like making profit, but all of a sudden a supermarket opened next to him, and he actually sell a cheaper meat than his quality meat, and he start to lose kind of profit. And he start to like take an action. And what he did, he actually hired a data scientist. What the data scientist did, he put sensors everywhere. He put sensors in the window display. He put sensors in the promotion board, in the store entry, and the sensor did not sleep. So the sensor actually tracked the food steps. Like it tracks how many people walked by, how many people stopped to see in the window display, and how many people actually look at the promotion board, and how many people walked in. And they find out a lot of people come after the working hours. Like the guy used to close at 9 o'clock. After 9 o'clock, they find like it's 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, a lot of people visit, but they cannot come in because the store is closed. And well, they were wondering why people come late. It was over actually weekends where the people came late, and it was a bar next to the store where people come hungry. I'm sorry, from the bar after drinking. They want to eat meat and they stop, but they find the door is closed. So what the guy did, he changed actually his business model. He changed the office that the number. The hours actually. He's instead of closing at 9 o'clock, he started to close at 11 o'clock. And once he did that, people start to come in, and he make a lot of profits in these 2 hours in a way that he keep his business on. And this cannot be actually happen before, like the data is transferred actually from the sensors to the computer, and people start to monitor what's going on. The good thing about data analytics right now, before data analytics, people used to use about 80% of the time to clean the data set and less time to analyze the data set. Right now, you spend very few time, like 5% of your time maybe in cleaning, or 10% of your time in cleaning the data sets, and you have a 90% in order to analyze it and see the insight of the data. So now I think we are ready to talk about the data analytics. And we're going to talk about, up in the market, there are about 4 or 5, famous or data analytics applications. Click, Spotfire, Tableau, and Microsoft Power BI are there. But recently what happened, like if you look at here, Power BI is number one used in the industry because it use Excel. Excel is steroid, as you see, so it built on Excel kind of skills that most of the people in the industry have, but it is more actually powerful than Excel and more easy to use than Excel, and the visualization is amazing, and you can actually synchronize your or have an interactive dashboards. So today we will go and get you kind of familiar with that software in which have some kind of hands-on activity. And I know that time is not enough, but it is for you in the future. When you consider any training in the future, when you consider any more information, you can actually go for it. So, and the good news is that Power BI is free. It's free to install. I put for you here the kind of the URL in which you can go and download it in your computer. But let me tell you, because it's Microsoft kind of product, it is easy to use kind of Microsoft computer, Windows. It's not like a Mac computer, but right now there is a version in which you can actually, if you search down, I can send you after that webinar some information about how you download it, and you also can partition your screen or your computer, I'm sorry, in which you can have like part of Windows, and there's many ways to play around it. So we're gonna go over today about like a visualization, how you build a dashboard, how you can actually use what's called information modeling, how you can clean your data, and how can you for analyzations. I will leave it for you. And this here is what we can cover in the future if we are interested, or if you guys can you do it maybe in your own. There is a lot of videos also out there, and you can also look for kind of training. For this, I did a couple of training here in AUS. One for the Ministry of Affairs, in which the Cabinet Affairs, in which I have about 25 people, like 25 ministry here, actually came to AUS here to our university, and they have a very wonderful kind of training, one-day training, in which they looked. It was kind of introduction. And also with Sharjah Leadership Program, we also bring people from here from Sharjah, from different government offices and banks as well. And we offer them kind of training and Power BI. So before I'm gonna stop sharing this one. I'm gonna go try to switch kind of application. And now I'm gonna go to show you guys kind of Power BI. Okay, I'm gonna wait and see if do you guys see my Power BI? I would like to be sure that you see it. Can I hear anything from you guys? I don't want to assume that. Okay, I'm hoping you see my screen, because it's very important that you see my screen. Otherwise, I switch screens because I'm not talking about one subject. Not sure if you can chat with me, if you can open. Okay, so now. Okay, now. They can see my. But they can see my screen or not? Okay, so here is a Power BI, and I'm going to show you how it works. If you can see the Power BI here, in the top of the Power BI, you have some ribbons here. It's very similar to ribbons in Excel, like, get data, recent resources, enter data, edit queries, and all of these ribbons. Also, you can choose here from view to modeling. That's very good advantage if you can model your data. It's not only like you take your data. No, you can link your data together. Like if you have many tables, it's very easy to link it, in which you can search the data easily. Okay, so that's why I'm gonna actually go over it now with you. If you see here, what we have in the top, these ribbons, and in the right side we have fields. It's empty because we don't have data right now. And we have kind of visualizations, as you see here, and you can, when you just, put the mouse over it, you can see what type of visualization you have. You can also import custom visualized. Okay, so like, for example, if you click here, you import from Marketplace, in which is connected, so we can go for other kind of visualizations, and you insert it here. Then you have kind of values, and you have something called formatting. We need to, after we have data, we're going to talk about filtering, which is very important, the way you filter your data. In the left side, you have kind of report view, you have data view, and you have model view. So let's go and get data right now. What I'm going to do right now, if you go and get data and you said more, you're going to find out there's a lot of data points connected, which is one of the most powerful feature of the Power BI. All these data model, like you can get data from Excel, you can XML, PDF file, it could be SQL, It could be another data, for example, SAP data, whatever data, Azure, it depends on the data, what kind of application you are using in your company. So the Power BI accumulate all of the data points here. You can look at the list here. If you need to look at list like, in kind of groups, you can look at file, you have certain groups, database, you have this data, which is Access database, SAP, and so on. And you can actually go one by one here, Azure, other service. Even you can look at the data here. You have kind of a Facebook data, which is something like, was not before. In which you can take, for example, in search, if I said Facebook data here, that I need to log in Facebook and, grab the data over there. What I'm going to do right now, because I know that you don't have, instead of bringing data from mine, I'm going to try to go and bring data from the web. So I said web here. When you said web here, you said connect. Now what's going to happen, it's going to ask you for URL. Okay. So I will go now to my screen. I hope you've seen live now the URL, or should I share it with you? Can you tell me? You're able to see it. Very good. Okay. So now I went to one of the URL, I'm going to go to one of the IMF data, World Economic. It's a database, very powerful. Yesterday I play around and find some database with what it called Dubai balls. But actually the size of the data was small, in which couple entries is not too much. But I'm sure there's a lot of data, and I would be happy to help you. If you have a data set, we can go and play with it later on. But let me right now I'm going to go here. I see how is the Power BI is very powerful, as the name actually indicates, in which you don't have to, yes. My phone? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so now you don't have to download your data in your computer and use sometimes it's a big data set in which your computer cannot handle it. The good thing about Power BI, you don't have to download the data. I'm going to show you right now. So I can group the data by all countries here, for example. I'm going to see all countries. It says here select all, so it's all selected. I said continue. I'm gonna go for one data about the GDP, which is gross domestic product for US. I'm gonna continue, and after that you can go back, actually change the starting date. You can make it starting for example 2000. It depends on until 2024, which is some of them prediction as well. So now we said prepare reports. When you said prepare reports, you have the report here. It's an online report. So you have it here for all countries, all of these type of years, which is kind of a big, a relatively big database here for all countries for a big number of years, about 24 years. So what you do here is you don't have to download the data. You just go here and copy the URL. And when you copy the URL, you go back to your screen here. Now I'm here. So now I'm going to paste my URL here and said, okay, and I hope you are seeing right now my, back to my, what it's called here, the application here, the software. So now I'm going to say, okay. Now they are reading the data and try to, and now the data is here. Whatever they find in the web, it's here. You see here a table view and a web view. Okay. For example, here I have document, I have table D, but you need to be sure here, it's very important before you extract the data, you need to be sure what you are extracting. And here, the good thing that if you document here, you see, okay, it's only kind name. That's not the data we saw there, so it's not that one. If you set here table here, it is not that one because it's only report for whatever. Even if you look at a view here Here is the table 0 we see, like we are seeing right now. Any box would consider it as a table, so it's not the table we meant here. If I go to table 2, for example, it is kind of table 2, it's kind of reference of the data where it comes from, so it's not the table we meant. So here the table 1, here the table 1, it is the data you see here, it is table 1. That's a web view. If you went to the web, you see it, and here you need to see it as a table. You come here and you see all the columns we select, it is here. Okay. So now we need to make sure like what data we're gonna actually grab and analyze. So good thing about Power BI is you don't have again to actually save your data in your machine. You can go and if the data is in the web, you can extract it right away from the web. And you bring it here without save it in your machine. And the Power BI compress it actually. Even it's large data, it compresses it here, so it wouldn't take much size or much space here. So now I have load and transform data. And cancel for sure. I'm not gonna cancel it because we need to use the data. If you know what, if the information, it's something you work in your company and your organization or your government, whatever, and you know about it, so you load it right away because it's used before and you know, so you don't have to just check it because it is used all the time. But here I have no idea about what is the data, so I'm gonna go to transfer data. So when I transfer it now, I'm here. Okay. So here is my data after I transfer it here. And here is one is called edit query. If you remember, we have the query editor in Excel, but here it works fantastically. It's fantastic in a way. You can track your steps. Like if you work in Excel and you go back and forth, like undo, for example, but you cannot see your all the steps you went through like here. But here you can track it, and it is documented from you. Like look at from the right side. It's a source, like if you hear it's a source of the data, we'll bring it from. And here change the type. They try to change the type for you, the type of the data they put, like if you see here like ABC, they start to read like couple columns and predict that your data type. Okay, you can cancel it. I'm gonna leave it, okay, but I'm gonna leave it because we're gonna do ours, but you can cancel the step by clicking here. Or you leave it, it's fine, like, maybe the system finds something and fix it for us, so I'm not gonna cancel. But you need to look at your data. It's only one table to make it simple for you. I do not bring like many tables together, but later I'm gonna show you how you connect tables together. So here, if you look at the first column, first row here, it is shared, shared cells, and that cell actually it comes because when we bring the data, sometimes it has some kind, you don't see in the table itself, but something behind the screen in the program itself. And so this line, I don't need it at all, this one here. So I can cancel it. So I just go here, I have kind of remove rows. So if I click here, I'm gonna remove top rows. Here, you're gonna ask me how many rows you are gonna remove, like 1, 2, 3. Actually, the first one is the one it doesn't make sense for me. So, and I'm gonna say okay. So what happened? That one is removed. And here, if you look at the right side for applied steps, it said remove top rows. So very important. Like if you don't want to remove it, you remove it by mistake, you can cancel it right here. So the red one signed to cancel. So now, if you look in the top, you're gonna find column 2, column 3, column 4. No, that's actually that's not the name of the column. The column is a field that should express the data here. For example, this column is for country. For example, column 1. Oh, I see country here for row number 1, and this column for the units of. Oh, I see units here. And so now you can, and this column for like years, if like year 2000, year 2001, 2002. So I can say, okay, the first row can be a column, and you know that from Excel. But here you have very easy way to see, use first row as a header. So I'm gonna move country here to here and become a header. And so I'm gonna click this one. And what happened? Oh, it comes as a header here. Okay. So, and as you see, it's easy and you track it. Okay. And then, if I need to cancel, like this one is empty, for example, this column is empty. I have no information here, so I can go ahead and cancel it. Right click, I can call it remove. Or I can just remove, I have remove columns and remove columns here. I can remove it. Like we go at the end, for example, and if we see anything to remove, yeah, the last one is null. It has null value, column number 31. So you can right click, or you can come here. You said remove columns. You remove columns. You remove that columns here. So it's could be, so many ways, as in Excel, there are many ways to do it. Okay, here you go. Scale is billion. You can leave it. It's up to you. But let's leave everything as it is. That type of table, we call it cross table here, in which, like if you have the data here, 2001, but it's not the one that the computer like it, or it's not good for analysis. So what's good for analysis is to have this, like, you know, like look at these columns. It's about what? It's year, like year what? 2000, year 2001, year 2002, until 3 and 4, and so on. And what's in here? What's in here is the GDP here, values. So I can actually, if you remember, what we're going to do, I can do on pivot table, like, you know, okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to highlight the columns. There is two ways to do it. Either you highlight the columns, you need to transfer it, or transfer it to, like, you know, rows instead of columns, or transport, like if you remember that from Excel, or you can highlight the columns here. Instead of transpose, you can highlight the column you want to keep it. So I highlight the columns, I keep it. I go here you have a line here, something called transfer. So I'm going to transfer this one. When I transfer, I have something, so I left home to another column here, or another like ribbon here called transfer. And under transfer, unpivot columns. So I'm going to say here, unpivot other columns, because other than the one is selected. Okay, you can choose unpivot columns if you select from 2000 2024, but it's too, you know, it's long line. That's why I chose this one is shorter. So unpivot, and now you see I'm gonna have only two columns after I press this one for year and one for the value here. So I'm gonna press it here. Okay, here you go. So instead of you have year, like, you know, in rows, you have year in column. So this one is more, you know, is much better for kind of analytics here. Like, for example, we start alphabetically. I have Afghanistan, the first country, I'm sorry, and that in 2000 and until 2024, and after that I start with the second country from 2000 to 2024, and so on. So here, and after that, I do have the value here. Let's change the names, like attributes. It gives the attributes and value. Instead of attributes, I can rename it by year, for example. So I need to go to rename it here. I look for something called rename. There is two ways to do it. Okay, let's go right click here, rename. You see rename here, guys? Okay, I'm gonna do it here, rename. I'm gonna put here year. That's year, or, you know, like. The other one, I'm going to do it in another way. Like you can right click here also, or you can double click. If you double click value, you can call it here GDP. Okay, so now I have it here. Okay, you notice I have NA here at the beginning, which is not, NA means what here? It is not available. I prefer having numbers. So it means that some numbers are not available, like for 2001 and 2000 for Afghanistan, I don't have the information. So easy way to do it here, if you click here, you look for NA like it should be here. Okay, I find it here. If you don't find it, you can sort it ascending or descending until you find it, because the list may be incomplete. So if you don't find it, just sort ascending or descending until you find NA. So how I'm gonna unclick it here, uncheck it here. So now it's empty. I'm going to say, okay. So what's going to happen, all NAs are going to go out. So now I don't have NAs a lot. Okay. So now, having said that, I want to be sure that, like you see here at ABC, like, you know, in here, ABC. ABC, if I click in the ABC itself, no, don't click here, click in the ABC itself, it tell you, like, you know, I have other kind of data type here. So it is, the ABC is good for like country name, for units, for that. But look at here in year, a year is not ABC, it's not letters. So in ABC, instead of ABC, I'm gonna choose what here? I'm gonna choose for year, I'm gonna choose whole number. Okay, so you look for the whole number like here, which is now it's 1, 2, 3. So now, because it is a number, the system recognizes it as a number. And if you write here, we change data type. For this one, I don't know what, like, should I choose a number or should I choose like a decimal? It has a decimal, but if you are confused, what you do here, you have something called detect data type in the top here. Do you see here in the top here, detect data type? So if you click that one here, oh, now it is 1.2, which is mean decimal here. Okay, so sometimes you say it should be a number or a decimal. And here, the wonderful thing here, it is if you go back to, you're going to see the step before whatever you have done up to now, like in the system, keep track on all the information here, so which is very powerful. So like here, in which even if you made a mistake, you can go and remove that step. Okay, it's called the table 1. You can name it, for example, yourself. You can name it GDP, for example, instead of table 1. It's up to you. Or you leave it, that's okay. Okay, so now, having said that, everything is fine. If we go home now, we transfer the data, we can go home, and we have something close and what here, apply. See here at the right, left-hand side here, close and apply. So I'm going to close it, close and apply. So now I close it and I apply it, and now it becomes here, the data comes here. You see the name of the table is called GDP here. Then we name it here. And now we go back to our screen here, okay, in which we can do whatever. Now we learned up to now how we extract the data and how we clean it up when we download it, which is very important to understand your data here. After you extract your data, what you're going to do here, you can do some graphs here. So you take some insights. So I'm going to just check one of the graphs here, like stacked column chart. I'm going to click it here. It comes here. So now you can move it here. If you need to make it bigger to have the whole screen, you make it. If you see it down here, you have page 1. Page 1, it means like, you know, this is like the dashboard. You can rename it, by the way. I can rename it here. For example, instead of page 1, like, you know, said like, you know, visual here. I'm going to call it visual 1. Okay. So you name it. So if you need to have a report, you can name it by whatever type of analysis you are doing it. By the way, you need to make this active. If you click outside, if I cannot drag any information here, so I need to make it active. Do you see the border comes right now? It means that's active and you can put information. How I put information, there is a multiple ways of putting information. Like, you know, you can drag actually the GDP right now and put it here in the table here. You find it here. Okay. That's one way of doing it. Like, you know, just put it here for sure, because GDP for all countries, it has no meaning here. Just it tells you the GDP over years for that one. So I'm gonna just you know, unclick it here, and I prefer you manage it yourself through the. Every graph has kind of features. That one has axis, it has legends, it has value. Maybe other graph has different, you know, type of information you need to fill. So, but if you don't know, you can grab right away here. And actually, the system is wise enough to find out what you are planning to do. Let's do here, GDP is, I'm going to put it under value, because that's the value I do have. I put it here. I click and drag. Okay, the same thing as we see before, same, nothing changed. I'm going to put under axis years, so I'm going to put here right now. So now it's going to give me over years. So what you see right now is the GDP for that country over years, okay, for the whole countries actually. and you look here for it's the sum of the GDP over here. How I know the sum? If you click here, you find the sum. It's not the average. It's not the minimum. It's not like count. We have a lot of work you can do. So now it is a sum. The system is smart, as I said. It look for and you see the GDP like going up over years. By the way, if you don't like this graph, I want to make it this one. So I come here, it becomes this way. Oh no, I want to make it like a trend. So I have it that way. And you can find out. So if you want to make it like, for example, pie chart, it's going to be like this way. So you can see your work easily, and if you want to make it a table, for example, it comes like that here, year and GDP. So I'm going to go back to whatever we have. So you can change the type of visuals like here according to what exactly you need. So I'm going to go back to here. Here, as I said, let's go and bring countries to make the analysis make sense more. Like, so I'm going to just put on the legend here, country here. So now even the system, it shows the color for me. Okay, so now it shows the color for me, and you find here the legend here for all the countries. If you come here, if you click anywhere, you can find here this is China, for example, red. And it tell you like the information about China. If you come here, for example, and if you come the top one here, like, Japan, and here is Russia, I believe. So you have, and also you can highlight from here, like, for example, if I need this guy to see it, is that one red. If I need something else, like to see this guy, I can find it here. But anyhow, here we have it here. Let me tell you something here. If how you filter this type of information, I'm gonna just put it aside here. Filtering, like if I need to filter the country, like instead of looking for the whole countries, I'm looking for the top 10. So here for the filter, if you click here, we have a basic filter, and if you click here, top N. If I choose top N, I want to just look for the first the top 10 GDP countries, not everything. But the system is asking me, okay, you top it in terms of what? In terms of GDP for sure. So I'm going to grab the GDP from here. I put it here. Okay, and I said apply filter. So what happened is I'm looking for countries right now in terms of that type of information. As you see, it's very powerful. I'm going to do something like, I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it here. Copy and go. Doesn't come. But anyhow, again, copy visual. Okay. Come here. Doesn't. Okay. I copied it twice here. Okay. I'm going to tell you why I copied twice here. Let me just drag this one a little bit so you can see there are different ones. If I copy it, if I want to see like in maps, how it looks in maps. So I come here in maps, for example, you have to make this one active. So you come here in maps, and now it will come maps. Oh, let me, because it's going to be confusing because we have the years here, I'm going to not click the years here. So I'm going to just unclick years for maps. Okay, now you can see here, it is the GDP by country here. Like, for example, you can find out which one, the US, for example, it's big here, which means that the highest GDP for US, United States here, which is low here. Here are the only 10 countries here. The good thing here, if you click here, this one, it like you see, it changes here, or it is, that's why you call it, interactive. Like if you check here, okay, you check here, it was like this one was United States, so they give only United States in the map. If I check here, for example, it give me like Japan. If I check here, gonna give me China. and so on. So whatever change you do here, it makes here, like I'm going to show you how it's interactive right now. I'm going to give you something quicker here as well. And if you, like, I'm going to go back to my graph. Here we have kind called, formatting. What's formatting? Formatting, you can format, for example, format, there is on and off here. So if I make it on axis format, if I click here, I can, for example, make the size bigger for axis, the X line here. So look at for X axis here, it becomes bigger. I can, and they have many options as well. Let's make it like, I'm going to close it here. I'm going to put Y axis, also make it a kind of bigger. You see here the sizes becomes bigger here. Also in Y-axis, let's see, I'm going to play it around data colors. You see it shows a color, the system chooses a color for the 10 top. Like, if you don't like the color, for example, if you need to make United States in red, because that's a flag here, so you put the United States in red here, so I chose the red side. So do you see here, whatever red you chose, if you don't like these colors, you can go to custom here, color, and you say the red is here. So it becomes red here. Do you see here? So, for sure, I'm going to make sure that Parazil is like kind of something else. So I'm going to do that. So you can change the color here easily and nicely for whatever color to make it beautiful here. Data labels, it's off. You make it on. You go down here. And after that, for data labels, let's see here, you can make the size bigger. Here is called it auto position. You can inside in. It looks like there's something in data labels here. Okay. Not sure. Okay, the functionality of it. But what I'm trying to say here, you can put your data inside here in data labels. Title, background, border, you can make the border difference, there's something here with data labels. I know why it's off here. Okay, go back to that one again. There's not, sometimes, like you see some features is, connected to some of these ones, not the others. But anyhow, let me go and show you something else here. I'm gonna open another one. I'm gonna, because I have like about 10 minutes. I would like to share with you something very interesting for you. But here, what we did actually, we can build like whatever multiple, and I also can duplicate, for example, duplicate page here. So what happened in the second one, I have the same thing again, like the first one. So for example, if I need in the second one, instead of like do it again, I can have a different graphs, for example, here. That's one doesn't fit. What's the good thing, like you can tell which one is fit and which one does not fit. I can change this one to trends. And you can see here, and it says some kind of messier. Okay, so you can tell which visual fits your data and which visual did not fit your data. Okay, so now we have like 4 visual, but all of them explaining the same thing. Okay, let me now I'm going to take you to a project that I did recently here. So I'm going to open it here, and I wish like everything was fine here. You can see it, and the top of this one. Okay, I'd like to be sure when it's open, you see the new one, not the old one. Okay, can you tell me if you guys, you see the new project now? Okay, I'm assuming because everything is okay. So what's here? It's about a company that are selling fishes here. They are selling, because of that, I have only 10 minutes left. I cannot get, it takes like, time to build it. But I'm going to show you how it works. Like, from the right side, you have your tables here. If you click here, you have the field opens here. I have 3 tables here, one for profit, one for purchase, one for sales. Okay. And here, if I click here, I can see, like, for example, here purchase, and it's a small one, as I said, as long as sales, like, the quantity of sales, the date of sales, and I have how much money they make from every kind of type, and what I bought. Actually, the purchase is more columns. But look at here, the model, which is very interesting. The system, like, link it between the three tables together. And that's what data modeling is, more than actually you visualize your data or extract data. If I click here, you see the red line comes here. It means that, these two tables are linked through batch here is the same as batch here. Like and it highlights the field that in where the do it. And it's one-to-many relationship. I'm not going to go in details, but here, if you click here also, it's a code here, and here it is an item. So an item and code, they are the same. So, and now you know that your data is connected. So if you would like to find out, the information about sales and information about purchase and information, these three tables have to be connected together, and they are connected now. So now I understand my data modeling. You can have up to 100 tables connected here or more, and you can actually partition your table in which you use some in one case and use other in other case. So here, go back to here is my data. The good thing here, if I need to have a kind of any new measure, I have kind here called new measure here. Okay, so if I click new measure here, I can come here. It's measure 2. Tell me what. And for example, I can say count, measure, or whatever measure you need to. Like I'm gonna say measure 1. You need to name it. Like for example, quantity of purchase. I'm not going to name a measure, but equal. And here you can say sum. When you see something here, the system going to say sum of what? They're going to try to use, we have sum X, sum, like, as in Excel, but they predict what you're going to do. And it makes your life easy in which what you want to do. And after you said count, for example, and you said, okay, you start, okay, you choose this one. Oh, what you need to count? Okay, so I need to count, number of times I buy items. It's a here column name. You need to choose column. So everything easy in a way you don't have to. That's what you call measure. If you build the measure is not added to the database. Like for example, if I need to know like the students who got an A's in my class, it's not like a column. They're gonna count how many students got an A. If I need to have a column, I can add a column here. So a new column here. New column, for example, I minus 1 from 1, I divided 1, so I choose a column. When I add a new column, look at what happened here. It adds a new columns here, but you need to see, okay, what type of function you're going to do, what type of calculations you're going to do. And after that, they're going to give you the number, okay? So I'm trying, so when I click it back here, it is. So here I'm gonna I'm gonna show you in the last 7 minutes how this one is beautiful here. Here we have something called a slice. Slice is something here, like if you slice your data, it is a kind of company that sells fish. And these are 5 types of fish, like lobster, salmon, shrimp, and others. And here is the quality of the fish they are selling, A quality, B quality. And here, distributors, bound bought, sold, revenue, cost, profit, waste. And here some cards you do because sometimes the manager needs some information. So you design your dashboard like that. So now look, see here, I want you to watch, the number is 985. No, if I look for only shrimp, I'm going to have a change. Everything will change, even the table will change. If I need shrimp like an A level, here change it. If I need a B level, I have different number. And everything synchronized and interactive together. So if I need more than one, I just control here, I hold and I have more than 2. For example, if I need to know which one is causing me losses here, when I click the first one, I saw here the profit is negative. So I know you need to get rid of this one. Maybe look for quality A. Quality A is positive, but whenever you buy B or C, you have a negative profit. So means this type, these two types actually give you a kind of losses here, 595. So maybe you need to drop. You don't buy from the code here like this type of quality. I can look for here as well, and look for analysis also. This one in A, I have a loss. I look at B, I have also losses instead of distributor B, BBF. So maybe I stop buying from these two type of distributor, and it shows you how profit change in every one. So now, if you don't click in any of those, just here, you're gonna find out. For example, I am making profit 1,209 in thousand whatever in units, and that's a waste. Look at the type of waste. So, but if I choose, for example, the last three and I focus more on them. Oh, look at your profit jump from 1,000 to 2,000, double. That's very important information for the company, and it's you can communicate it easily with the manager, and that's in your white, like the summary statistic one here and everything here. You build it. If I have time, I will show you how I build all of these like kind of cards, and you build it. Like profit analysis here is like I make the profit analysis for every type of fish, for depending on the quality. You can see from the table here. The second one is making losses but here I don't have the distributor, for example. If I go here, I'm trying to see the waste here. The waste, like here, how much you sell, how much you waste. So you find like from the COD, the waste is, what does mean the waste? If you don't sell something before the expiration date, you're going to throw it away. And that's why it has high waste, because you don't have any waste for shrimp, for example. You can look at by distributors. Okay, so for example, shrimp is always no waste. But here, look at C. Distributor C have a lot of waste. Like maybe the quality is not good from that distributor. Look at the last one, which I have very powerful interactive here. So here I have 4 slicer, one by time, one by distributor, one by fish type, one by grade. And here I have my graph here, which is this graph, and here I have a table here. The good thing here, even if I click here, if one click here, like for example, for this fish type, gonna change everything. Okay, so now I'm focused in COD. So all information here in COD. Like if I need to look at where these guys only from one distributor, from other distributor. Here's the time. If you're gonna stretch it to look for the whole month, you're gonna find it changed. If you look for like certain days, maybe in certain days during the month, like I have a problem. And you can filter it by the way, guys, like you can choose the time between that and between like certain time. Very powerful, like, kind of, the Power BI is very powerful. As you see, it depends on like, it has some of Excel functions, but as you call it, still in like in powerful Excel. And I hope that in 1 hour right now I have 1 minute or 2 minutes left, so you can play. Like as I tell you, whenever you do something, everything change totally. Like distributor A, for example, participated in 28% of my sales, while the distributor participates 26. Here, like that one participated less, but you can find out. I can add one more here card for profit to see like how much profit I do. But we did it before that one, and you can look at the data differently here. As I said, it's very powerful. You can format your data here as long as you want. You can no problem formatting the data. You remember the data labels, it was not working before, now it works. Display the data here auto, but you can say it in 1,000, you can say it in millions, in billions. So sometimes the system gonna find out the data color. You can change it, as I said before, x-axis, y-axis. You can play with it. The border, you can change the border off and make it on. And you can change the color of the border. Instead of black, you make it, for example, green. So I have the border is green right now, okay, for this one. So I hope you understand, something from me. So excited. I love it. I use it in my research. I use it in my teaching. I use it in my consulting as well. and I find it very powerful technique, and there is a lot of actually ways to learn about it. I'm sure when you have one-to-one, or like when you come for in a kind of workshop, you learn more because you can have hands-on. Somebody is clear next to you, can guide you. But I'm gonna end here, and it's my pleasure to talk to you guys today. Thank you. How I find out? Okay. Okay, guys, I'm looking now if there is any questions. I'm opening my phone right now to see what type of questions you have. Yes, I have multiple questions right now. Inshallah, I will go over it. So let me ask here. Okay, I have Anud is asking, can you send the presentation to us from Anud? Yes, for sure. I'm gonna send it to you guys, and you can forward it. And I also can send you some other information that helps you to download Power BI in your desktop. I forgot to tell you, you can share actually your dashboard. Yes. Uh, uh, Minimize this one. Okay. And minimize. That's it. Okay. Okay. So, so yes, I will be glad to give it to you, Anuj. You know, it's my pleasure. I'm gonna give you more information whenever you need. I will leave my email. I would be happy to reply to any question you have. Uh, I have an email address from Shazad. Let's see. Fatma also say thank you very much. I'm glad, yeah, Fatma, I like it. Please invite me for any other training or workshop. I would be happy if you are talking about that. I will. Yeah, maybe you are talking to your organization right now, but I provide workshops before to organization. I have 20 like the cabinet of Ministry of Cabinet Affairs, like about 3 months ago, I think they brought like a big group of people from different ministry, about 25, and actually they told me exactly what they need, and we grab information from the web and we analyze it, and it was very powerful. And we can go step by step, like in terms of we start like simple and we take it like the point you need. Fatma said very helpful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Excellent webinar. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Ashraf from Isa. Shukran, Isa. Mansoor. Thank you, of course. Like, all of what I have, I'm gonna say, I have shukran. I have thank you a lot. Ahmed Mohammed Rashid is left his email in Sharjah. Please add me to the HR club circulation list. And could you please send me a copy of presentation too? Yes, I will do that. I'm very glad you guys like it and giving the time. And I'm happy to I didn't see you. I hope to see you one day, inshallah, in person. And you have guys my contact information. Just feel free to give it to them and share more information. I'll send you after the presentation whatever. Even the Power BI files, I work it on it if you need to play with it. Okay, thank you.